How was Mustafa Kemal Ataturk able to become such a great leader? How was he able to develop a nation with radical mentality into a modern nation? From a military nation, officer to a great leader, how did he get that power? And how is a leader truly capable of bringing out the full potential of his people and lead them towards development? Okay, look, Ataturk, I can give you a 2 hour lecture. I can give you a 1 week seminar also. I mean, he's one of a kind. Okay, he was one of a kind. Uh, to compress that long story and make it short, what can I say? How can I approach that? See, Ataturk was born in Thessaloniki, in present day Greece. It was then called Salonika. It was part of the Ottoman Empire. And he was born to a Turkish father and an Albanian origin mother. Father's name I forget, Ali Reza perhaps. Mother's name was Zubaida. Yeah, okay, and so on. And his father died or something, and his mother remarried, and he was Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. Mustafa, as was called, he was very rebellious. He was sent to an army school, and he was kind of sent to very many various schools. He was always expelled, but he went to the army school, and there he found his discipline and all that. And he was great at math and all that, all those things, artillery calculations and all that stuff. He was good at that, and he participated in various military conflicts and all, and he distinguished himself. Eventually, he was the man standing against Winston Churchill in Gallipoli, uh, the Dardanelles, and he's the guy who saved Turkey from the invasion fleet of Winston Churchill. It was 1915, the Gallipoli campaign, which was a disaster and a humiliation for Winston Churchill and for the West and for the Anzacs. Indians also, unfortunately, had to participate in that. And so he was hailed as a national hero, which he was. And he participated in various other uh, theaters of war as well. Eventually, so he was a distinguished general. In 1920 or wherever it was, he after the defeat of the German-led coalition in the First World War, Turkey was partitioned and chopped into pieces, and then there was a civil war in Turkey, the the Turkish War for Independence, on which Mustafa Kemal Atatürk fought against the entire Western coalition and the Ottoman Empire, and he defeated them all. And he drove the Greeks out of Turkey, and there was the burning of Izmir, Smyrna, so on. Long story, but he was able to win. The essence of leadership is service, and the second thing is non-negotiable is winning. A leader must win. A leader must deliver. You cannot be a failure. So he had those qualities, and he was a military leader. And if you are a military leader, you have the might of the armed forces behind you, and all political power flows out of the barrel of a gun, as Mao said. So he was able to eventually become the leader of Turkey, the dictator of Turkey. Uh, and look, he was not a saint. Let me tell you that much. You read his life history, you'll know that he was not a saint, but he was a great leader. So you don't need to have the best personal qualities to be a great leader for your people. Was Ashok a great person, a great human being? Probably not. But he was one of our greatest emperors, and I thank him for his service. Similarly, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk was not a great person, was not a great human being. He had his flaws. Okay, let's put it that way. But he was great for his country, and he had a great vision for his country. You know what he used to say? Uh, he didn't say this, but he despised. You know what's strange about this? It still makes sense. He despised the average Turkish person for their sloth, for their lethargy, for their low standards. But he had an unshakable belief in the greatness of the Turkish nation. You see the contradiction there? He could not stand the average Turkish person, but he had an unshakable belief in the greatness of his Turkish nation, and so on. So that's the thing about Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, one of the all-time greats. And the changes he forced on his country and the society were incredible. It was an Orthodox Muslim nation, and he turned them. He during his lifetime he turned it into a secular nation, a European nation. He forced them to reject the Arabic script and to use the Roman script with certain changes and so on. The changes he brought into to Turkish society were incredible and deep rooted, and I can't imagine how he was able to do it. You know, Women could no longer wear the veil, the burqa or whatever it's called, that thing. And the public holiday would no longer be on Friday. It would be on Sundays. And he I think he also mandated that Turkish mosques could no longer say Allah Akbar. They had to say Tanri Ullan. And he purged the Turkish language of all the Arabic and Persian loan words by replacing those words with Mongolian words, because the Turkish language is similar to the Mongolian language. They've shown you the Huns and the Turks and the Mongols, same origins. So he replaced all the Arabic and Persian loan words with Mongolian loan words, and so on. So the guy, he had this force of character, right? So yeah, one man changed the whole nation. Incredible guy.